I'm Heather and this is Adam, and we work on the global employer branding team at SAP. So hands up, who has heard of SAP? Brilliant, most of you. Who could then tell me what we actually do? Yeah, 3 of you, brilliant. So we are the brand that is behind, we're the software company that is behind your morning coffee. We're there for your Friday night drinks. We're there when you watch your favourite team at the weekend. In fact, 3/4 of the world's transactions will hit one of our systems at some point. And most importantly, we're all about saving the world. Because the best run businesses make the world run better, and the best run SAP. So there was talk earlier about purpose. That is essentially what our brand purpose is, and something that we live and breathe as employees throughout the organisation. So last year was a pretty incredible year for us. As Natasha said, multi-award-winning year. It was phenomenal. So we were one of only 2 companies that were listed in Glassdoor, in all of Glassdoor's employer rankings. So whilst Glassdoor are a global company, they only actually do a top 50 in 5 countries. And only us and Microsoft made it into all 5 of those companies, in all 5 of those lists. We also, for the first time, gained a global top employer certification. So Adam's told me off for this slide because apparently we're on 22 country certifications now, and I thought we were on 19, so sorry, Adam. But yeah, first year to get our global accreditation there. In fact, in total, SAP won 280 employer awards last year, and 120 of those were in employer branding and talent acquisition globally. But of course, most importantly, was our in-house recruitment awards that's open right now for anyone to sign up, yeah? So most importantly, last year we won in-house's own recruitment award for Best Employer Brand and for Recruitment Innovation. So that's what we're going to go through with you today, is how we got to Best Employer Brand and some of the projects that we worked on that netted that Recruitment Innovation Award. So how did we do it?
So let me first go ahead and ask you here in the audience. We've talked a little bit at some of our roundtables, but how many of you actually have a dedicated employer branding department at your companies? Okay, a couple. How many of you are maybe just one individual whose full-time role is employer branding? Okay, a few more. How many people are not actually officially employer branding, but somehow they're recruiters or within TA or HR, they're telling you, we need to focus on this topic, and how about you go ahead and take care of this? Yeah, more people. That seems about right. Well, at SAP, we've actually built our own internal employer branding department. Since I've been working at SAP for the past 3.5 years, I've seen this team actually double in size. On our team, we have copywriters, graphic designers, video editing specialists, event planners, project managers, but ultimately, we're all SAP employees. We know our company best. We fall under talent acquisition, so under the HR line of business, we're working very closely with recruiters and HR to recruit the talents that we're looking for at SAP. So how did we do it? What was the first step in all of this? And that was defining our EVP. So this is a topic which we've talked a little bit about today through many of your different presentations. But at SAP, we did it by first conducting 39 EVP workshops in 15 countries all around the world. 33 of them were internal, meaning they were done with existing SAP employees, and 6 of them were external, meaning they were done with potential candidates. And the purpose of these workshops, which were done in design thinking format, were to really work with these employees and candidates to find out the attributes that they feel would make up their ideal employer. So working with them, really trying to get a very diverse set of input from so many different focus groups here. Ultimately, we found out that the employees and candidates were looking for a company that gave them opportunity, purpose, and growth. So after we got those key attributes, then we as the employer branding team worked to build an employee value proposition, which was really from the employees for the employees. So the result was, bring everything you are, become everything you want. So that is the messaging that is supposed to encapsulate this opportunity, purpose, and growth, EVP. You can see the creative material here. The headshot dominates, but the mosaic tells the life stories. Because it's, we all have bigger stories to tell outside of work, and that is really what shows the success of the employees from his or her personal collections. So besides this, we've also gathered testimonials, videos. So far, we've featured about 30 employees and counting since its launch last year. From all different personal and professional backgrounds. We're doing even more this year, and it's really catching along quite well. And one of the ways in which we promote our EVP is, of course, through our social media. So at SAP, we have really two different social channels, we can say. We have our corporate SAP channels, and we have our Life at SAP channels. So if you go home and you actually search for SAP in some of your social media channels, you might find the SAP channels, which it's really more towards customers. It might have our financial results, maybe more messaging from our CEO, or marketing towards clients about products. But with the Life at SAP channels, that's entirely owned by our employer branding department. And through Life at SAP, that's where we're in the unique position to actually show what it's like working at our company. Because as we talked before about the top companies that everybody wants to work at, and we talk about Google, Facebook, Apple, these kinds of places, at SAP we have the same kinds of working conditions, we have the same kinds of values, we have the same kinds of offices, but it doesn't always touch us in an obvious way like Google and Apple and Facebook. So like those statistics that Heather was sharing to you at the beginning of this presentation, who would have known that? But most people don't, because we are that B2B company. So by showing that on our social media, we have built our number of followers last year up to, well, now over 160,000 with a reach of 28 million. And our policy, of course, is engage, not broadcast. We've created Life at SAP illustrated cartoons, kind of showing funny situations with personified characters of SAP employees, either from cultural celebrations in different parts of the world, or even goofs about teleconferencing, working from home in your pajamas, and even trying to engage our employees through photo contests such as fancy dress or show your pets or your work environment through engaging with them that way.
So as Adam mentioned, we have a global employer branding team made up of experts. So we'll have a content writer in Singapore, one of our video editors is in Shanghai, Adam actually works in Prague, I'm based in London. So we're all over the place doing all of this creative content. But how does talent acquisition actually use that to get bums on seats? Because it's all very well this employer branding team churning out some fantastic creatives, but how does that actually attract talent into our organisation? So this is the area that I actually look after, and we refer to it as the employer brand menu of services. So it is a nice, easy, kind of 8-page PDF that we can go out to the business with, whether that is talent acquisition teams, whether it's HR directors looking after certain markets, or it's just various lines of business, and actually work them through how we can build a strategy bespoke to what their hiring requirements are, whether it's short or long term, so that they can use the in-house creative skills that we've got to really get the right people in the doors. So recent campaigns, so last year, we had an ask where there were 200 developers needed across 5 countries. So Vietnam, Korea, Germany, Canada, the US. So really kind of difficult ask, where are we going to find these developers from? Java developers are not easy to find anywhere. 200 of them in a 6-month period, really tricky. So we worked with those TA leads, we worked with HR directors, we worked with the business to get that content, put it out there, track, measure, and then ultimately make 180 hires from it. So significant cost saving to the business than if they just appointed an agency to help them with that. We also look at where we get talent from other markets and move them around. So we had one for commercial sales at the end of last year. It actually went live 2 weeks into December. So we saw incredible results even though it was 2 weeks into December, where we were targeting people across Europe to go and work in sales jobs in Ireland and Spain, because the local HR teams knew that they'd exhausted all the local talent and they wanted to find talent that was bilingual by recruiting in Belgium or the Netherlands and then bringing them over. So that went really well. So going out to the business and being able to prove from past campaigns how things work, why they need to use stuff, what's worked for other line of businesses, really works for us and really then positions us as subject matter experts and almost like an in-house agency that they can tap into. So looking at some of the projects that won us the Recruitment Innovation Award, this was actually, it was a 3-pronged project that netted us that award, which encompassed a Facebook game, a Facebook app, and revolutionised our assessments for early talent. So this is some stills from the Facebook game that we launched, it's about 18 months ago now. Simple gameplays, worked on arcade kind of basis. It's quite addictive. I've only been with the business a year, and when I was doing my research and came across this, I was hooked on it and ended up sending it to everyone that I was working with. Really gave the game away that I was looking for a new job. But it's based on different levels that we focus on within the business. So there's healthcare, there's entertainment. So it's a nice way of showing that SAP isn't the stuffy German ERP software company that many people think we are. And likewise, sitting on Facebook was our app. So the app taps into your profile data a little bit like the What Friends character are you systems would do. But it goes through your profile and it's your education and what you're into, and then fits you against a career path with SAP. And why we wanted to do this was to show that we're more than software development or salespeople. There's actually numerous career paths that you can go down. So this is actually the results from when I did it, and apparently I should be working in finance. So somehow Facebook knows that I have an addiction to spreadsheets. The assessment tool, so the third part of this, was shortlisting without bias. So this is an assessment tool which started with our Sales Academy, which is graduates plus up to 3 years experience going into sales roles. And the Sales Academy is fantastic. It's 6 months training, you're shipped off to California, you go and mix with colleagues from around the world, you come back, you're mentored in the job, but it's a great opportunity. But of course it attracts grads that have got very little work experience. So how do you mark one against the other? Most businesses might look at, well, they went to an Ivy League or a Red Brick University, and that's how we'll do it. No, this takes out all of that. So all you can see is the aptitude and the skill set that this candidate has got. It strips out the age and the school that they've been to, but most importantly, it gives real-time feedback to these candidates. So rather than a graduate applying and their CV going into the black hole that is everyone's ATS and never being spoken to again because they were one of 1,000 that applied for the role and you can't look at everybody, they actually get feedback straight away once they've completed this assessment that tells them maybe the areas that they need to work on. And we find that out of the rejections from the Sales Academy, people come back in second year, third year, because they really want to be on that program, but they know from their feedback what they need to focus on. So since this went live with the Sales Academy, this is now being rolled out further across the business, and hopefully we should see some good results from that. But where are we going next? We took a year off from awards submissions. We find the awards are a great way of seeing what other people are doing and then benchmarking ourselves against our peers. But we made the decision to kind of cut it this year. So we haven't, thankfully, for the hangovers I was getting, haven't been to any this year. But what's next on next year's agenda?
So to follow along with our EVP campaign, as I mentioned before, since we launched it last year, we've featured about 30 employees for the photo shoot. Most of these employees, they are coming in through nominations. So when we did go live with this campaign, we did communicate it globally in as many channels as we could internally to gather people to nominate their colleagues. We of course now have this huge backlog in the system of trying to get all of these employees featured, because with the resources that are available, even at a big company like SAP, it still takes a lot of coordination to organize these photo shoots in really different parts of the world. So in order to really try and facilitate this, to make sure that the employees and even potential candidates themselves can engage with us quicker and more personally with our EVP in a way that really they can all be part of, we're developing an app right now where it is part of this Bring Everything You Are, Become Everything You Want, where you'll be able to upload your own image and build your own EVP mosaic. The idea of it is that you'll be able to share it on your social networks. Ultimately, as the employee or candidate, you'll become a brand ambassador and really just promote SAP, the name out there as well too. So when it comes to the next slide, another question that I have for the audience, kind of random one, but who here's a fan of darts? Yeah, a couple of people? Okay, a couple of people, all right. For the rest of you, I wasn't a fan of darts either before. I always, just associated it with kind of like, drinking beer, playing bowling, darts. Apparently, it's really big here in the UK. For the darts fans, have any of you heard of Rob Cross before? Yeah, you heard of Rob Cross? Okay. Well, SAP recently heard about him too. And with his story, actually, it was something that really resonated with us, because this gentleman, Rob Cross, he was an electrician, and he always just was really interested in darts, and it was really something that he loved doing through, just working hard, talent, and his own passion for darts. He actually won a world championship in darts. This story really resonated with us as a company because it was very much tied to the Bring Everything You Are, Become Everything You Want campaign that we were doing. So, something that we'd really never done before with talent acquisition, employer branding. We sponsored Rob Cross. We were doing this when people were asking, okay, well, why darts? We were really trying to think outside of the box. So, of course, we are working together. Hopefully, our technology can help Rob and also just darts in general. But it gives us access to a completely different audience, which we had never even really considered before. 20,000 people sometimes sit in darts matches. So, to work with Rob, he has so many followers. We can use him as an influencer. We do talent win events at darts matches now with Rob, and we're really trying to just kind of merge this all together. Besides that, we're focusing now on esports as well. So video game sports. Historically, this has really been huge in Asia, of course, and North America as well, I can say. But it's really starting to get much more popular in Europe and other markets in the world. It has an engagement already of 2.7 million people on Twitter. We've announced a sponsorship with Team Liquid. It doesn't cost big sponsoring money, but it does give us access to more channels where we will be able to interact with the gamers and just get new audiences out there.
And a huge audience for us, because that's where our software developers and our techies, that's the kind of stuff they're into. They see our logo everywhere. So brilliant to tap into that. So what have been our learnings doing all of this in-house? Well, we already know that your employer brand can't be created. It's what your employees are saying about you. And we are lucky that we work in quite a collaborative organisation where people will share their thoughts and their feelings and their ideas, which made the EVP workshops really easy to run. But you've got to be real and you've got to be authentic. So when you are customizing that content yourself and putting it out there, then you've got to represent those employees, because they're not going to share it otherwise. And their networks are really where you want to tap into. It's those like-minded people. Social media, our policy is always engage, don't broadcast. We could take to our social media channels all the time and say that we're hiring and we're great and we win these awards and don't you want to come and work for us? But that's not the stuff that people click and share. So the stuff where we run a fancy dress contest and we shortlist 5 employees and put it out to crowdsourcing, that's the stuff that gets us the likes and the hits. Budgets mentioned a lot today. You would think from all of this that we have a huge budget. We really don't. With the employer brand menu stuff, most of the time I'm going out to lines of business and telling them they've got to pay for it because it's their hires, so it's their budget. And looking at things like the Innovation Awards, the stuff that won us that was when we did have to bring someone in. So yeah, we use our budget wisely. Where do we not have the skill set? So if we need assessments building, that's where we would be spending our budget. Looking at measuring everything, data is key, especially when I'm going out to the business and saying you need to spend $200,000 on to attract these 200 developers, but measuring everything, and I guess the SuccessFactors marketing analytics suite really helps us with that. But do as much as you can in-house. The recruitment advertising agencies do a fantastic job. I should know, that's my background. But you guys know you. Going back to that first presentation of the day, you do you. Use those agencies for where you need that extra support and that extra creative input, and then you can spend your budgets wisely. So thank you.